We need to talk about Mercy in Season 2. And the change that has been teased for Mercy is finally here. And wow, the bar was on the floor and somehow I was still disappointed. Mercy's new change is her weapon swap time has been reduced by 0.35 seconds, her Glock ammo has been increased from 20 to 25, and they also fixed a bug where her Guardian Angel wouldn't reset when she used Valk. Basically, previously you used to be able to Guardian Angel 2 times in a row as long as you Valked between the 2 Guardian Angels, and they brought that back. Now, don't get me wrong, these are great quality of life changes. I genuinely think if they had just said nothing about Mercy and dropped this little buff out of nowhere, we would be quite happy. I actually love the fact that they patched her Valk Guardian Angel bug, but seriously, like, these are the only changes that Mercy has? Okay. The devs made it seem like they were acknowledging that supports were suffering in Overwatch 2 and just not really having fun. Then they go and make really out of touch changes like this. Not to mention, the weapon swap buff itself is barely noticeable. A 0.35 decrease to her weapon swap speed is so small. 5 extra bullets, I mean, yes, that's great, it's a buff for sure, but also Mercy is the only hero in the game that should rarely be doing damage, you know, outside of her ultimate, and in her ultimate she already has infinite ammo, so it just seems like a really strange change. If you as Mercy are ever in a situation outside of Valk and you need to pull out your pistol defensively, which sacrifices healing or boosting your team or rezzing someone, and you haven't killed that person in 20 bullets, 9 times out of 10 you're probably dead anyways. I mean, it's a buff, so I'll take it. It just seems like the devs are really out of touch with their own game, the community, and the state of the meta. This isn't just about Mercy, this is about a lot of the devs' decision around balance going into Overwatch 2. Now, listen, I think Mercy is going to be a strong pick going into Season 2. A lot of people think that Doom is going to be the meta. Mercy can reliably live against Doom compared to other supports. With the Sojourn nerfs, pocketing Sojourn now becomes almost mandatory because without damage boost, Sojourn can no longer one-shot. Ramattra so far doesn't seem like that big of a threat to Mercy, and the new map Shambali is great for Mercy. Personally, I think it's pretty dependent on Tracer. I think it's kind of funny that they buffed Tracer, Doom, and also said that they were trying to help supports. Tracer and flankers in general can be a big threat to Mercy's survivability even with the weapon buffs. So I think that Mercy can still be okay, if not good. We'll have to see on how strong Tracer and flanking is in the upcoming meta. But my main issue and what a lot of people are concerned about is not Mercy's strength or her place in the meta. It's with Mercy's smoothness of play and the very tiny things that haven't been fixed for years, and the overall balance approach that Overwatch devs have taken to not just Mercy but heroes overall. The balance changes were discussed by the devs on Twitter Space. The link is in the description if you want to listen to the recording. Basically, they said that they came to making such a minimal change for Mercy because she is top 3 in win rate and pick rate in Grandmaster. They also went on to confirm this in a Q&A on Twitter where Skiesti, a Mercy content creator, asked about this. They didn't feel the need to adjust her any more than she already is and wanted to give her some more defensive utility. There's a lot to be said around balancing only around win rate and pick rate. A lot of games don't do that for a reason. It doesn't tell the full story. Let me show you what I mean. This is the Asia leaderboard for support. In Asia, almost all high rank lobbies are in Korea, where a high concentration of ex-Overwatch League pros and current Overwatch League pros play. I have to get to page 10 to even come across someone that has Mercy in their top 3 heroes. It's different for Americas and EU. I can get to someone who mains Mercy much faster. But even then, to say Mercy is on the same level as any of these other supports that are dominating the top 500 leaderboards goes to show that how you actually interpret that win rate really matters. Mercy is a popular hero, probably one of the most popular heroes in the game. She's almost always going to have a high pick rate. In Grandmaster, there is a strong meta. Season 1, it was Kiriko and Lucio. People who do pick Mercy are going to be Mercy specialists / one tricks who are really good at Mercy. Everyone else is going to pick Kiriko and Lucio. So saying that Mercy has the 3rd highest win rate in Grandmaster, it's not really saying anything. If Mercy was meta and more people played Mercy who weren't specialists, the win rate most likely would go down. Win rate also matters if you're measuring by an unmirrored comp. Is the other team also playing Mercy? Likely not. Not to mention, Mercy was also buffed by Sojourn, who was incredibly broken. What's Mercy's win rate in games where Sojourn isn't on her team? Is this taking console data into account as well? Because console and PC metas are really different. When you solely balance around win rate, you are misinterpreting so much information about the game. It results in stuff like the dev team saying, hey, Sojourn is actually fine and not overpowered because win rate scales with rank. Something that they actually said mid-season in season 1. Because they only looked at win rates, they also said that Genji actually needed nerfs, and Symmetra, probably the worst DPS in the game, needed nerfs as well. When it comes to niche hero picks, the win rate will almost always look a bit skewed and tell a different story. That's my concern. With the new balancing approach in Overwatch and the hyperfixation on win rates and pick rates, not just for Mercy, it oversimplifies how the game actually works. Let's think all the way back to the beta of Overwatch 2. Actually, let's go all the way back to the alpha. Since the alpha, Mercy players, top Mercy players, have noticed that Mercy was lacking in a 5v5. Since the beta, Mercy players were suggesting for reworks to her core kit. Instead, we were given a Guardian Angel change that nobody asked for, that still failed to address the core issues with the hero. Personally, like a lot of other Mercy players, I like the Guardian Angel change, and I think she definitely would have been worse off without it. But we were worried that them hyper-focusing on this one aspect of her kit would cause them to neglect all her other issues, and that's exactly what happened. Not only did they ignore every other aspect of her kit for something that nobody asked for, but they continued to not even fix issues that the new Guardian Angel now brought up, like her close range mobility being nerfed and feeling clunky with the meter, and her Valkyrie movement feeling even worse. Now the devs have said, okay, let's look at Mercy again, and proceeded to once again ignore all the very good feedback that Mercy players have respectfully presented to the devs, and once again given her a random change that nobody asked for. Creators like EeveeA, Niandra, Skiesti, and Somnus, Mercy creators who have been talking to the devs since the beginnings of Overwatch 1, have consistently been giving devs feedback on Mercy. According to Niandra, they've typed literal essays to the devs that have been ignored. Now, I know the game doesn't owe Mercy players special treatment and they have every right to ignore us. And before people say, oh my god, Mercy players are just being crybabies, this isn't really about Mercy, her stats, her strength as a hero, her issues. This is really about how devs don't seem to be listening. Look at this tweet from a creator named Gail Adelaide. He basically says that he left the content creator Discord because Blizzard straight up wasn't listening to anyone. Blizzard has a content creator Discord where content creators can communicate directly with devs. He said in his time there, the devs just didn't listen to anyone. Now, I don't know much about Gale or his situation personally, but this really seems to be true. I mean, Doom has been mega buffed this patch, and Doom players didn't even want that. They don't want Doom to just become a quote-unquote punch bot, and that seems to have been the case. I'm not even a creator in touch with the devs, and I'm frustrated that they won't acknowledge these small changes, and if they do acknowledge them, seem to be making empty promises with no solid date in mind to implement these changes. That being said, what are some actual meaningful changes to Mercy that can be made? Skiesti did an entire video on these suggested Mercy changes. EeveeA has a very thorough document, and Niandra also did a video want it. I'm gonna do a really quick summary of the most common suggested changes both in the casual player base and from Mercy content creators. Her passive. It was nerfed from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2, and it doesn't compare to other supports who have their own healing abilities. Her beam breaks when activating Valkyrie. Her close range mobility still sucks. Her resurrect still feels slow and clunky in a 5v5. Heck, is res even good in a 5v5? Her slow healing and lack of heal-based utility makes her feel weak. The mobility in her ult feels clunky. Damage boost should give more ult charge than healing does. She still doesn't have a separate sensitivity for her pistol and her beam, and Valkyrie as an ult itself feels weak. That being said, I'm still on copium and I do still believe that there is hope for the future. This is because of this tweet from the lead developer. So Niandra asked, will they consider removing the beam breakage when activating Valkyrie? And he responded that he was open to it. He said he recently read through a document with great Mercy suggestions and want to do more quality of live passes for many heroes in the future. This is honestly a much better response than I expected, which was no response, though I don't have high hopes. They're at least acknowledging the existence of other Mercy suggestions and keeping it in mind. I definitely don't expect to see these changes anytime soon. Mercy isn't really a top priority, and there are a ton of other heroes and issues in the game to address. I still don't think that Mercy will ever receive anything super significant like a hero rework. Most of the changes will probably be reserved to stuff we've seen here, like tiny changes that won't have a huge impact on the hero's playstyle. After all, Mercy did just get a big change with her Guardian Angel, and I don't expect them to be doing more big changes at that level anytime soon. So anyway, that's all for me. This is a little bit different from the usual gameplay or guide videos that I do. Let me know if you're interested in seeing more of these discussion videos, and please tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching.